welcome to another episode of the Godel Pods. I'm back hosting again Laura Ainscough from the Service Delivery Division, and today my special guest is Louise Moore from FE fundinfo. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, just obviously to introduce your role as well as Head of Technology Operations here at FE fundinfo.
Yeah.
Newly appointed job title as well. It is the official announcement. So yeah. But I suppose it'd just be great to just like introduce yourself to our listeners and probably get a little bit about your role as well.
Sure, I'd love to. So I am Louise, as Laura said, working as Head of Technology Operations for FE fundinfo, and I've been in the role actually for not quite a year.
Yeah.
It'll be a year in June.
Feels like it's been a long, in a good way.
Yeah. But I have been with the company for 4 years. So
yes, yeah.
It was an internal move, and I essentially came to work for Paul, the Chief Technology Officer, to help him bring together two really core functions.
Yeah.
So we were amalgamating product and technology under his leadership, and he needed someone that could help him bring together the right level of structure, governance at the management level, but also making sure that we had the teams interacting properly, we were monitoring and tracking the right level of KPIs. And that's essentially what I've been working on for the last 9 months.
And enjoying it as
well.
Yeah,
loving it. It's been great.
Yeah. And I think really I was very excited to like have you on this podcast today because I don't think we've ever had someone on with your role as well, which is just so important to every business and bringing divisions together and everything. And what I suppose I'd really love to dive deeper in is how, you know, the metrics, KPI, how you know what good looks like, you know, when you feel like there is that success. So I don't know where we start here, I suppose, is with the KPIs and success metrics. How do you
Well, we started really in kind of Q4 of last year when we were thinking about the budget process and what our product roadmap could look like. And the beauty of having the product and technology teams under one leadership meant that those discussions, the inception of those ideas literally happened together. So already we have product and technology in complete lockstep around what was feasibly possible to roll out, how long, you know, what resource requirements would we need. So all of those discussions happened together at the beginning, which was brilliant. And we were able to agree on essentially the product roadmap for the whole of 2024. We then took that roadmap, we socialised it with our commercial teams to make sure that we were focusing our attention in the right areas. You know, are we going to be building things that our clients actually want? We made sure that we got the right level of socialisation there. So even those discussions, just having those 3 teams involved in those discussions was a brilliant stepping stone. And then since then, we've just made sure that we've got the right meetings in place and the right cadence tracking to ensure that we are actually hitting the relevant software delivery milestones when we said we would. And so we have a product roadmap with an associated sort of technology backlog. And we just make sure that they're in lockstep. And that was the beginning, really, of our KPI journey. Since then, we've moved more into a kind of return on investment type tracking. And we've gone, well, you know, we wanted to deliver this piece of software. We said it would take X amount of time, but actually, how much did it cost us to deliver that as a business? And how much are we now selling that piece of that product feature set for? And is it worth it? You know, is the ROI there?
So you use that data to,
Exactly. And we've built a tool internally that allows us to essentially track the resource allocation across every product sort of software rollout. And that's and we're actually reporting that up to the board level so they can see as well that level of ROI. So I mean, it's taken us a while to roll out that process because we're reliant on the relevant technology and product teams feeding in that data to us on a monthly basis, which they've got really good at doing.
And I suppose sometimes it's the hardest bit to get people on that journey with you because I'm sure you've come into the role like this is what we're trying to do and you're reporting up to, you know, CTO, but how did you get people on the journey with you? I think that's, I know, and a lot of clients struggle with that part really.
A mixture of carrot and stick.
No bribery there.
No bribery. I think what we did was when we brought product and technology together, we had an offsite, a management offsite, where we made sure we were really, really clear on our objectives for the year. We then actually held a town hall with everybody in product and everybody in engineering to play back the results of that offsite. So from the beginning, they were kept informed of this is what we discussed as a leadership team. This is what we agreed with the priorities for the year.
Yeah.
And this is the impact to you as an employee.
Right.
So we made it quite clear from the beginning that there was going to be a big focus on metrics.
Yeah.
So I think that helped.
Yes.
They knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Naturally, you have challenges in the process and the timing and the fact that, you know, everyone's juggling their day jobs.
Yeah.
But we've got there. I mean, everyone has been really willing, and I've got, you know, a mini team under me, a couple of analysts who are wonderful. And
yes.
I gave them the badge of Chief Nagging Officer.
I love it. I love that title. We need to take that to Godel. Yeah.
So they were empowered to go out and work with
They're allowed
teams.
to nag people. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's been really receptive to that. So
yeah. Okay. No, and I suppose I know obviously you probably don't want to you know, blow your own trumpet, but I suppose that's why the importance of your role, where it's not trying to put people against each other, you're there to bring everyone together, and I suppose that's probably key of why it has worked here as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we have a bit of a joke even within the leadership team.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of my colleagues calls me teacher's pet because it's a little bit my role.
Yes,
isn't it? It's to hold people to account and make sure that we're getting the data on time, and but they get it, and we just joke about it, but somehow manage to get it done. Yeah,
and it's cheesy, isn't it, when you say one team, one goal, but at the end of the day, if it's product engineering, delivery, like, that is the reality.
That is
bringing it together. Yeah, you all do want the same thing at the end of the day, but maybe sometimes they don't agree with that, but it's, bringing that together.
We agree on the end goal. How we get there, I guess, is up for grabs, and
absolutely,
that can be where the, you know, fraction could be sometimes.
And then I suppose, obviously, from that success of it, but, you know, I'm sure you're then able to collect that data and then bring in changes to the organisation where, you know, again, that's another, direction really. But how do you implement those changes if you needed to, and how do you go about that to wider business?
It's a really well-timed question, actually, because despite bringing product and engineering together, we're actually now in a position whereby the organisation is restructuring, and we are separating out the two product and engineering teams. You know, we've recently brought on board a chief product officer, which is really exciting.
Yes.
So we're going to be separating the teams out again.
Yeah.
So the challenge for me and my team is going to be, how do we continue those operational KPI reporting processes across two separate functions?
Right. Okay.
I don't have the answers to those. That's the next challenge.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it's the same as rolling out any change. It's being really clear in what you know. It's being really clear in what you don't know.
Yeah.
And being able to document really quite well any process change and the impact that has for individuals. Clarity of change and process is really important.
Yeah. No. And do you obviously use a lot of these changes like with the data that you collect? Is that how you maybe present? Yeah, which is very key to, again, bringing people on that journey. Yeah.
I mean, I'm reluctant to change the data capture mechanism because we've rolled that out. It's working. People understand it. Naturally, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But it's a way of working, so I'm reluctant to change the way we capture the data. Mm-hmm. The type of data metrics that we capture is likely to change just because of the separation of the two teams.
Yeah.
But I do think the data can definitely have an influence in terms of what you might want to change within process.
Yeah, okay. And I suppose, and another thing with FE fundinfo, another layer of it for you as well, is you're based in loads of different locations.
Yeah.
We're obviously here today in London, but you know, you're everywhere.
Yeah, global.
You're very, and obviously I know it's great that you get to travel around as well, but I suppose that's another layer in itself, isn't it, when you're bringing on these changes and you might not be doing it
face-to-face.
Any advice on
Brilliant question. I mean, like probably most global companies now, we're fully operational with the technology set up. So Microsoft Teams is an absolute godsend.
Yes.
We do all of our meetings through Teams.
Yeah.
I would say virtually every call I'm on with colleagues from around the globe.
Right, okay.
So the fact that our infrastructure works brilliantly just enables the discussions.
Yeah.
I was actually on a call this morning whereby we were able to use like a virtual whiteboard. So we were
we were
brainstorming like globally. It was weird, but you can't underestimate the technological infrastructure needed in order to collaborate across ponds.
Yeah.
And that's been really good. Saying that, I think now that the pandemic's lifted, a lot of the senior leadership team are able to travel to a lot of the offices as well, which I think is brilliant. It brings people together, enables you to have town hall and business updates.
To do it that way,
Yeah, so I think that's helped as well.
Yeah, and again, it's obviously good for you to get that visibility in different offices and bring them on the journey as well, isn't it? So
I'm hoping to get back out to Chennai.
Yeah, I know. I really want to come with you.
So we can make it work.
Yeah, I don't know how Godel. Yeah, we can do another podcast there.
Maybe in Chennai.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I suppose I'm really interested in is when you feel like there is a need for change. I think sometimes people do it on like a yearly basis, and sometimes, I go into companies and they aren't adaptable to change and they're not doing it enough or they're doing it too much.
Yeah.
From your role, how often do you...
Are we running out of change?
Yeah, or you're analysing what if there needs to be that change. Any advice?
All the time. It's really
okay.
I think the nature of our business is it's incredibly fast paced.
Yeah.
It feels like we're rolling out some level of change somewhere in the business at any one point in time.
Yeah.
At the moment there is multiple change taking place, whether it's organisational restructures and teams changing, whether we're rolling out new feature sets or new products, whether we're changing some of our existing products and maybe migrating clients from the old to the new. That doesn't seem to let up.
Yeah.
So I think people get used to working in that kind of constant change environment.
Yeah, okay.
The risk, of course, is change fatigue.
Yes.
And how we address that. I'm not sure I've necessarily got an answer on that yet.
Yeah.
I just, again, to reiterate my earlier point, I think just being really open and honest about what we know and what's changing, and open communication is probably the key.
Yeah.
And allowing a forum for employees to ask questions.
Yeah. And you are in a very fast-paced industry as well, I suppose. So I think when people are joining FE fundinfo,
we're honest about that. And it's exciting. It's wonderful from a learning opportunity perspective.
Yeah.
I guess you just have to feel quite comfortable in the grey. That ambiguity it doesn't work for all, but it can work for some.
Yeah.
I see it as a challenge.
And it's staying ahead of the different trends as well, isn't it? Which I suppose links in with my next question. Obviously, in technology, there's always skills, upskilling, and I suppose what do you do at FE maybe to kind of keep ahead of that trend, I know you're working on multiple products at one time, but how do you motivate your engineers and adapt that
to think of new ways?
Yeah,
there's a couple of things we do here. So we have installed communities of practice
across
the technology teams in particular. And you can just find developers that are passionate about something, and they'll create a community of practice and they'll share their findings and their knowledge and everything they do on a weekend. So that works well. It's not something we necessarily track, but we know they happen. But I think what I'm probably more proud of is our annual hackathon event.
Fantastic,
which it's brilliant.
Even you look excited by that. I love that.
Well, last year was, I suppose, because I started the role last year, it was my first year to being exposed from the inside. Before I always saw hackathon from the outside of technology as an employee, like hearing about the end result. This year I was involved from the beginning and I ended up being in charge, and it was very
exciting. I was going to say, how did you get involved? I knew you would be.
It was wonderful. And essentially what you do is, I think it's a 2-week time frame that anybody in the business can sign up to. It doesn't have to just be a technology-led initiative, but naturally there's usually lots of tech involvement. And each team they'll group themselves together, they'll come up with a team, they will formulate an idea, like a business problem or challenge they're trying to solve for, and then they will go away and they will technically they will come up with a technical solution for that problem.
It's amazing.
And then they'll present that back to the panel of judges, and the solution that wins then gets rolled out.
I love that. So there's a proper reward, really, isn't there?
There's a real incentive to think outside of the box, to come up with something really quirky. I'm excited for this year's hackathon. I'm wondering what kind of AI.
There's going to be so much.
There is. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to understand it.
And do you think you'll be having a go this year at participating?
I did say I wouldn't mind being in a group. So
I was going to say, I can imagine you giving it a go.
I would.
And it's great though to hear the success of that, because I know, and probably our listeners will as well, where different companies do try these hackathon events, but I suppose it's how you sell it and how you put it out there to the wider team, isn't it? Because sometimes they are a success like here, but sometimes they can be a bit of a flop as well, can't they?
Well, it's something else on top of the day job. But I have to say, the uptake participation rate actually increases year on year.
Yeah,
so
that's really, it's probably the competitiveness. Well, I know what it's like here is people want to like win. And yeah. No, that's great. And I suppose then you learn of what the trends are and the tech, and it's,
and best practice is shared. And
and then you probably can use some of that information and data as well to make these kind of key decisions.
Exactly.
So yeah, amazing. And I suppose again on the technology part of side of it, I suppose it's really great to see a woman in leadership role, which is fantastic. And I think recently there are some statistics at the moment where I think it's like 28% of tech leadership roles are women. So it's
higher than I would.
Yeah, and it's it's great to obviously keep addressing this as well. And I suppose when we're not really the majority in this sector, it's quite nice to ask you the question of how did you get in this industry? You're here, what attracted you? And
I don't even know if I've got the right
response. I know. The honest answer, really. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was fortuitous, right, in the sense that I was already working in the organisation.
Yeah.
And I think with the combination of bringing product and engineering together, Paul, the CTO, he recognised that there was a need for this role.
Yeah.
And then I just happened to be the candidate that got the job, right? So I think from that perspective, it was definitely about a skill set and not a gender requirement.
Yeah.
But saying that, it's it's really nice to be. I'm actually really enjoying being in a team of all men. I've never worked in a team of all men before. Actually.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. It's great to be part of such a knowledgeable team.
Yeah, and I suppose they've obviously probably welcomed you in with a different it's exciting for that. It's a difference as well. And like you say, your CTO has recognised your skills and it's just probably happened quite naturally.
Yeah.
And now you're just in the technology sector and
still shocks me that I'm in technology. I don't even use Apple Pay and I have an iPhone 8 and yet
but you're here making so, and I suppose just for other women maybe in the industry and a leadership role, what advice would you give these women who are maybe wanting to learn and try and get themselves in a similar position?
Work their way up. I think I've probably got two pieces of advice. The first one is to say, from the professional side of things, I think get yourself as many mentors as you possibly can. Yeah. And they don't need to be official mentors,
but
whether it's an uncle or a friend, a friend's mum or someone that essentially that's got more experience than you in the professional world.
Yeah.
If that's the world you want to go in, it might not be, whatever world you're interested in. And just leverage their experience.
Yeah.
I think I found when I look back on my career, there's always been at least one mentor in that current job that I've really looked up to, followed their guidance, used them as a role model.
Yeah.
In some instances, learn what not to do.
Yeah.
That's important. And the other thing I'd say is, make sure you're surrounded by your cheerleaders.
Yeah.
People that are going to lift you up when you're having a really tough day, pat you on the back when you've had a great day.
Yeah.
I think that's important both in work and outside of work.
No, I totally agree. And sometimes, I think, work cultures, you can sometimes take it for granted. Like I'm in a very good working culture as well and I get a lot of support. But I think, with experience, some people can be in a really toxic environment which can knock you back.
You need an outlet. I've always had a work wife and a work husband.
I love
wherever
that.
I've been. And you can call them, just to have a rant or seek their advice or... It's soothing, I think.
Yeah, and I love the word you use is like cheerleader. Like it's those people that just give you that constructive feedback, that motivate you and want to keep making you do better.
Yeah.
Whatever gender you are as well. It's just those type key things, isn't it? So, and I suppose kind of looking back on your career, is there anything that you would change or have learned from? Or
that is a great question. Not necessarily change, but I do think what I've learned over the years is the importance of cultural fit.
Yeah, which I suppose is,
And I'm not necessarily talking about the values that companies talk about, I'd like to think companies live by them, but sometimes they're just a bit lip sync. It's more in terms of making sure that you've got the right working environment.
Yeah.
Do you feel rewarded? Have you got the right work-life balance?
Yeah.
Whatever is important to you, is that reflected in your day-to-day?
Yeah, okay.
I've definitely worked for companies in the past where it hasn't necessarily met all of my own values and it works for a while, but wouldn't see myself necessarily growing there long term.
Yeah.
If you really want to grow somewhere, then that fit is critical.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's great. And I think, if you get that wrong fit, then you don't want to keep achieving as well, do you?
It's hard to, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas you're not naturally comfortable.
Yeah. Whereas this role, it sounds like you found your niche and it keeps growing and growing with more responsibility after responsibility.
Well, we'll see. Come back to me in a year.
Yeah, exactly. But I suppose it is great to see, that there is an increase of women in technology as well. Like, we definitely see it. I'm not saying everyone is in leadership roles, but you can definitely see an influx. And I suppose that's quite positive to see in this industry.
Really positive. And actually at FE fundinfo, we've got a really healthy kind of female to male ratio, both in technology but also across the organisation.
That's amazing, right?
Which for the financial services industry, I think is incredible.
Well, yeah, because it's not even just the tech sector here; it is financial. It's two industries that are predominantly known as male.
Exactly. So we're not doing too badly.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I suppose that seeing yourself in such a position just encourages that kind of positivity as well.
So.
Yeah, amazing. And I know, obviously, we've worked together for I feel like it feels longer in a good way.
Yeah, agreed.
But obviously, I know you got introduced to our partnership and know what Godel does within FE fundinfo. I suppose it would be great just to hear what you think works well in a partnership like this and how we contribute to your role as well and hopefully make your life a bit easier.
Definitely. I mean, for us, obviously we've worked with you for a while now on 2 really critical projects.
Yeah.
What I really like about the partnership is how quickly you guys can understand what it is we're trying to do, ramp up the relevant resources and the right team, and just get stuck in.
Yeah.
The speed of ramp up is great.
Yeah.
And then, the work that you guys do is brilliant. I think we've got a great partnership, great working sort of relationship with our SDMs, our service delivery managers and your technology teams. And the flexibility that you offer is incredibly helpful. Obviously, we agree a piece of work for a period of time, but naturally that can take longer in some instances, and that level of resource flexibility is so key for us.
Well, like you say, you're such a fast-paced company, aren't you, as well? And I think you give us a lot of great challenges, and I think you work...
That's a very nice word.
Yeah, I know, and you want to work with different technologies as well, which I think our engineers are always very positive.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's going well, which you're implementing a lot of this change and new directions. So, so you're helping kind of our engineers work with that. So, I suppose what we always do with our end of our podcast like this, we ask, how would you describe us in 3 words?
Okay.
So how would you describe Godel in 3 words?
I would say knowledgeable, definitely flexible, and fun, I think.
I'll take that. I love those words. Next time we'll do this podcast, we will have a bottle of wine.
Definitely.
So, definitely. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I hope you've enjoyed the first video podcast of yours.
Ever.
Exactly. So I'm sure people will see you more on these now. But no, thank you so much for your time, Louise. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Laura. It's been great.